What it do, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I thought I'd do a very interesting kind of video for Black History Month. If you did not know, the month of February is Black History Month in the United States. In accordance with what I did last year I really decided I was going to highlight the heritage months every month for the US at least, and I want to continue on with that this year, but I'm going to do it a little twist. I'm going to be doing different videos to not only talk about the new makeup, but talking about brands that you guys have maybe never heard about, and just showing what I already have, maybe not even necessarily as a tutorial. So hopefully that'll give you guys just some different content, refresh the memory, and let's just go ahead and get into it. Now, before we get into this video, I just want to say if you have not already done so, I would love it if you go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. You can also go ahead and give it a thumbs down if you don't like this content or whatever. That really, it just helps me to know what you like and what you don't like when it comes to what I'm posting. Also, if you've not already subscribed, I would love it if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It means the world to me. All of these brands will be listed and linked down below. And this is going to be more of a show and tell type video. So on my Instagram and on my community tab here on YouTube, I decided to ask you guys a very generic question of what are some of your favorite Black owned beauty brands? And you guys did not disappoint. You did not disappoint at all. So thank you to everybody and anybody who actually did respond. I truly appreciate it. And I thought it'd be interesting to just talk about these brands, right? In some cases, people don't know a lot of these brands. They've never heard of a lot of these brands. And I hope that this is very much a resource video, but also I could talk about what I already own and what I would kind of recommend from these brands. And so, yeah, let's just dive on in, because y'all came up with a lot of brands. Y'all really came through for this video. So one of the first brands that you guys talked about is Danessa Myricks. Now, multiple people talked about Danessa Myricks in their comments, and I think she is one of those makeup artists that is just extremely well known if you are in the beauty sphere at all. Now, her beauty brand has, in some cases, her beauty brand does get some flack because her products, although they work for her, are just a little bit too in the clouds for a lot of people. And if you're somebody like me, I would say I'm about an intermediate on my skill level of using makeup. I think these products that I'm going to recommend in just a second are going to be great for you. I only have a handful of products from her range, and I do want to get some more. It just has not worked out right now. These are some of the products that are still in my collection. So her Yummy Skin in Universal is great. It's a great primer. I find that this does smooth in the pores and fill in the pores, but it also does mattify the skin. So if you're somebody who is combination and or oily, she has come out with a colored version of this with a nice range. And you can decide, you know, whether you want to try the universal like I did, or if you get a colored version. If you get a colored version, you can use that as a foundation. So I really like this product. You can, of course, use it with a variety of different brushes. Because mine is in universal, I just use my hands and just really warm that into the pores. Another product that I still have is her Contour Balm. This is a really nice emollient type product. I find that this particular product is actually warmer than my skin tone, so I can actually get away with it as a bronzer. This is thinner than her cream bronzer. So if you've tried the cream bronzer, or if you're interested, that is very much a straight up cream. It is insanely pigmented. And that is something that across the board is something for her brand. Her brand is extremely pigmented. This is a lot less pigmented, it's a lot thinner, and I would recommend that more so for beginners over her cream bronzer, because it's just so thick and you can really apply too much and it's hard to come back. Another product that I would highly recommend, this is only two of the variety that I have, are her Color Fix products. These are really what they say. They're a colored product that you can use wherever you want, all over the face. People use these as lip products, eyeshadows, cream blushes, cream bronzers, whatever you want. Some people even use them in the eyes or even as a mascara. So I really like those 4 products. Those would be some products that I really would recommend from her brand. And they have lasted in my collection over a long period of time because they are really that good. Another brand that you guys actually recommended, I have never tried, and it's Oma Beauty. I believe quite a few people referenced their lipsticks and their foundation. And I want to say those were like the 2 categories that they were really well and still known for. A lot of people didn't seem to really love their eyeshadows. So I would say potentially steer away from those, but I think more of their base products are really where their bread and butter is. And yeah, you guys recommended it, so I definitely could see me potentially in the future picking some things up. Juvia's Place. Now, Juvia's Place is one of those brands that has been out for quite a long time. At the beginning, they were really only known for their insanely pigmented and blendable eyeshadows. And that was really where I started with the brand as well. Unfortunately, because I just had the palettes for so long, I ended up decluttering all of my eyeshadows from the brand this past declutter. But I will say their formula is actually really quite good. So if you are interested, I would recommend them. Just really take the time to see what color scheme works for you. But outside of that, I do have a couple of products that I am going to recommend today. So some of their newer products that I still have, one is the bronzer duo. Now this is in the shade dark, and I actually really like this bronzer duo. Both shades work for me, which I'm really happy about. I gravitate towards one depending on the season and my coloring, because I do of course get darker in the summer and lighter in the winter. So I really like this duo. I like everything about it. I like the compactability. I like the price. Really like this. Another one of my favorites from the brand is their I Am Magic foundation. I have this in the shade Legos. This is a go-to for me. This is currently in my project pan, so it won't be something that I have in my collection for very long, but I've really enjoyed this. I want to say I got this last year and I've gotten significant amount of use out of it. And that is really one of those signs to me that the product is great. The last thing that I pulled out is their lip oil. I actually quite like this lip oil. Is it like the best thing since sliced bread? No, but it's a really good lip oil. This is in the scent Sweet Orange, and it does have a nice like slight orangey scent to it. I would recommend that product. I know a lot of people love their cream blushes and their cream highlighters, and they're both in like a liquid compact, very similar to this product. Actually, it's just bigger, and I'm not going to say that I don't like those, but the formulations aren't preferred for me. So it just kind of depends on what type of formulation you particularly prefer. I prefer more of a stick or a compact that is like this. I prefer this type of compact, but it's more of a cream for my blushes than particularly a liquid. So that's why I didn't sit there and recommend it to you guys, but they're still good quality nonetheless. So do take that in mind. Next is Lip Bar. So the Lip Bar is a brand that I feel like was super interesting. So they have some interesting roots coming from Shark Tank, and they've really skyrocketed. They've been able to really invest in themselves, and I love that for them. I really do. It was created by 2 women at the beginning. I don't know if they're still the sole owners, but I do know that they originated with that. What I will say is I've never really tried the Lip Bar. A lot of their stuff really hasn't hit home to me. Now, at the time of them really getting into fame, I was super into color. Like, you couldn't find a neutral look on my face ever. And it's really interesting how now I am super into neutrals, and I still have not gravitated towards picking anything particularly up from the brand. That said, they have a wide range amount of things. They have lip liners, lipsticks, they have eyeshadows, blushes, and bronzers. And the blushes and bronzer, they actually have a duo and a trio, at least the last time I checked. So this is once again another brand that maybe potentially in the future I'll try out. So far I haven't. I just have not. Then we have Fenty. I feel like Fenty is really so popular because she came out with such an extensive range immediately. Now, at the time of her doing that, that was really unheard of. A lot of brands, what they would do is they would slowly expand their range after they got a lot of people purchasing and they got a lot of revenue, whereas she immediately came out with her range. Another thing her brand does really well is that once they release a product, it's released more or less everywhere the same day, the same period of time. So nobody's really waiting for any particular item that they really want to get their hands on. So for that reason, her brand has just really skyrocketed. It really has. Now, I have a handful of products that I want to recommend to you guys, but I do also want to stress that this is not my favorite Black owned brand. I feel like for a lot of people at the time, like I said, it was really about the range that she allowed people to have access to, not necessarily particularly the fact that her products were the best thing, once again, since sliced bread. So I have 4 things that I'm going to be talking to you guys about today. The first one is actually the one that is on my face today. So this is the Fenty Beauty Eavesdrop foundation or skin tint in the shade 20. I just reviewed this, and by the time that this video goes up, the review video would have been up, so definitely check that one out, and I will have that, of course, linked down below. This is a really good foundation. It's really nice. I find that if you don't manipulate it and put the right primer and maybe even additional moisturizers, this is quite a flat matte finish, and it does last very long. For me, even though I'm combination oily, I prefer something that has a little bit more life to it, a little bit more of a skin-like finish. So I tend to kind of manipulate this foundation just a tinge so that it gives me this like more skin-like finish. It just feels more comfortable on my skin outside of like that very, very mattifying finish that sometimes I just can't bear it anymore. So yeah, I really like it. I think the match is really good as well. So yeah, nice foundation, I would recommend. I also have one of her bronzers. I think this is one of the products that I've gotten so much use out of. I do still have it in my collection, and there are some products that I finished from her range, quite a few actually, but this is in the shade Mocha Mommy. A lot of people love this bronzer formulation. It is a matte bronzer though, so if you want something that has a little bit more lifelike to it, this is not the one for you. This is quite literally matte. A lot of her things at the beginning of her range were truly for combination and oily skin and really just were not kind of more lifelike, but I do like that bronzer nonetheless. The last 2 I want to recommend are actually lip products. The first one is going to be the Fenty Beauty Hot Chocolate Fantasy lip gloss. This is a really beautiful lip gloss, but also it's really the shade. I've already gone through one of these formulas before, and I really did like the formula. The only reason I picked up another one because the shade is so beautiful. I did feature this in another recent video, so I will have that video linked down below in case you want to see it applied to my lips. It is a beautiful kind of lightly pigmented brown with iridescent sparkle running throughout. You have purple, green, gold. It's just a variety of different shades, and I really, really highly recommend that particular shade if you are a brown skinned individual and you want a little bit of an intrigue to your brown lip products. The last thing I'm going to talk about is yet again another lip product, like I said, and this is She's a CEO. Now this is a little bit darker than what I naturally will gravitate to, but the formula is actually really, really nice. Yes, it once again is a matte, but this is a more breathable matte in my opinion. I don't find that I'm suffocated at all with this particular formula. And honestly, matching these 2 up together, it's a match made in heaven. So I definitely recommend it. But like I said, I just really want to emphasize, to me, the thing that keeps Fenty Beauty really up is just her inclusivity. And of course, Rihanna, let's face it. But if she hadn't come out with the range that she came out at the beginning, I honestly don't know if she would have been as popular. I would love to hear your opinions down below in the comments. I really would. So I have 2 products from this brand, and this is Ami Collet. Now this brand is one that honestly, I was not under the impression that it was Black owned, but you guys, once again, recommended it and commented it, so they might be. I, for some reason, just did not think it. It's okay, either way. So the mascara, on initial application, I did not like it. I thought it was way too wet. It was way too chunky. As it has continued to dry out, and at this point, I really do need to go ahead and throw this away, I definitely think that this is a better mascara. Some people like their mascaras at the beginning when it's nice and wet or whatever that formula is. Sometimes you just have to let it dry out. I've enjoyed this mascara dried out. Am I going to run out to repurchase it? Not necessarily. I think it's fine. And if I'm on the Sephora website and I really need a mascara, I'll reach for it. But otherwise, no. And then the Ami Collet lip oil. I think this is a nice lip oil. Once again, it's really nice. I do find that this truly is more of a lip oil than a lip gloss. And that distinction has not really historically been done everywhere. Some brands are calling things lip oil just because they're fetch and they just want to get that pull, but it's not necessarily lip oil. So I would love to hear if there's anything else from the brand that you would highly recommend, because like I said, so far those are the only two things. I don't think the brand has a lot, at least not on the Sephora website. Then we got Pat McGrath Labs. Now Pat McGrath is one of those, she's one of those makeup artists, once again, very similar to Danessa Myricks, where she is just known if you are in the makeup industry. She recently did like this glazed look that has definitely gone viral. So many people have been attempting it and showcasing it on their platforms, and that just really tells you her range in the beauty industry. So I have just a handful of products that I want to recommend about when it comes to Pat McGrath Labs range. So first things first, I always recommend her cheek products. Her cheek products are fantastic. In this particular palette, I have 2 blushes and a highlighter. Absolutely love any of her blushes and her highlighters. I think I pulled another highlighter. I meant to pull the bronzer. The bronzer is fantastic as well, so definitely know that. And then of course, the eyeshadow palettes. Now I've just pulled this quad just because it was lighter and smaller, but all of her eyeshadows are really, really nice. That said, I don't think you need all of them. You definitely don't need to collect. I would find like a handful of them that just work best for you. The color schemes scream to you, and just try those out. 2 more products I want to talk about her brand is her foundation. I love this foundation. I find that it is just so nice, and like it's a filter in a bottle in my opinion. It does give medium coverage. I would say high medium, but I really like it. This is in the shade Deep 30 in case you were interested, and I really like that foundation match as well. That does give like more of a skin-like finish, and I really dive into my foundations in, once again, a previous video, and I will have that link down below. And then the last thing I want to talk about from Pat McGrath Labs is her under eye powder. This is a powder I find a lot of different skin types really, really enjoy, so I do want to go ahead and recommend this, and I have mine in the shade yellow, particularly because of my undertones. So Pat McGrath definitely has a lot of things to offer, and I would say between the more makeup artistry brands that I am highlighting in today's videos, Pat McGrath has a lot more consumer friendly products than Danessa Myricks. Oh, I forgot a Danessa Myricks product. I'm so sorry. Her Groundwork palette, Danessa Myricks. Fantastic, fantastic. I haven't been able to sit down and review this for you guys, but I've been really, really enjoying this palette, and I wanted to make sure to talk about it. It's just tucked away in the corner and I completely forgot. But between the 2 Black owned makeup artistry brands, like I said, if you want something that's a little bit more easier to understand and wrap your head around, I would direct you to Pat McGrath Labs range instead of Danessa Myricks, but I find that I have been able to find products that work for me in both ranges. Next we have Clarity Cosmetics, and they're a brand that I have tried, I believe, only 2 different types of products. Their blush formula and an eyeshadow base formula, and neither particularly stood out to me. So in my experience and kind of in me trying and wanting to try out so many different brands, if the products that I try from the brand don't stick out to me immediately, or even just kind of over time, I tend to just kind of move on. And unfortunately, I moved on. But I would love to hear if there's a product from in their range that you love and you highly recommend, and you say, Blake, you gotta try it, please definitely let me know. Red Beauty, that's a brand that was at least at one point available at Target, and at the time, you know, I was still kind of trying to find some perfect things at Target. I've kind of honestly given that up, but I digress. I picked up a cream eyeshadow stick, and unfortunately for me, the cream eyeshadow stick was just so stiff that when I applied it on my eye, it hurt. It hurt. So I just never tried another product from the brand. Once again, it's a product, it's a range that you guys recommended though. So yeah, give me specific items, colors and all if you can, of some of these brands that I haven't found something. Maybe then I can share it to more people and showcase it to more people. JD Glow used to be a brand that I had a lot of products from, specifically their highlighters. Their highlighters used to be extremely popular because at the beginning, I want to say they were one of the first brands to really come out with some very interesting dual chrome highlighters. I hit pan, and I want to say the shade Chaos, I loved that shade. But since then, I've not bought anything else. I mean, at one point I picked up their eyeliners and then the doe foots broke off on me, and I'm kind of one of those people, if enough things break and I kind of waste my money, I'm just not going to go back to them, you know, unfortunately. And so unfortunately that was the kind of issue with them. Plus their pans are just so big, especially the eyeshadows, that, you know, I just never bought more. I just wanted to kind of try more brands. And once I did, there was nothing to really bring me back to the brand. Propa Beauty. So I only found one. I think the others are in a bin somewhere that I need to just kind of replace the products into where they need to go. This one happens to be the shade Focused. I have once again featured this on a very recent video, so I will have them linked down below. But to my knowledge, Propa Beauty is exclusively only reselling lipsticks. Their lipsticks are beautiful though. They're a wide range of shades that just really work for darker skin, and pretty much all of their shades work for darker skin because they have this more satin formula. So it's not super opaque. You get the color, don't get me wrong, but it's not so opaque that you can't kind of make it work. I love their formula. I love their shades. I will definitely be hopefully highlighting the brand just a little bit more, maybe in a short form or something, so definitely stay tuned. But great brand, and I highly would recommend them. Next is Playing in Makeup by Yolando. This is a brand I picked up a handful of things, maybe just one or two eyeshadow palettes. I did recently declutter the one eyeshadow palette I had, mainly because it was just so big. The formula was a little bit out of date compared to some other pastel palettes that I had. And you know, I follow the brand on Instagram and they have a lot of releases that they're chugging out, and I'm not going to be hating on them at all, but none of the things have been really pulling me personally in. So I don't know, I just decided to skip on all of their latest releases. DD Signature is a brand that recently revamped, and I did pick up a palette. Once again, this is something I haven't had the time to sit down and film for you guys a review, but this is their classic autumn palette. This is the only one that I have from the brand, and I really like it. I like it. The formula is great. It is pigmented, it's blendable, it's nice. The shimmers are nice. They're a tinge bit thick, but it's nothing that my finger warming them up won't do. I like the looks that I've been able to create with the palette. Overall, I like the palette. Is it a brand that I think is like the next thing that's really going to keep me going and I got to buy everything? No, I do find that the brand releases just a little bit too much for me personally, but I also am at the time where like I just don't want to bring too much into my collection. I really want to use up some things. So that also might be my personal mindset. LYS. Now this, out of all of the brands, is the only brand that I'm actually currently affiliated with, and I do have an affiliate link down below in case you are interested. So there are a handful of things that I did want to feature from this brand because I enjoy the brand. So first is this lip duo. The brand did send me this specifically, and this is the Speak Love Lip Treatment in Hot Chocolate. It is actually the lip duo that I have on my lips right now, in addition with Makeup Forever's Limitless Brown Lip Liner. I should hopefully have the short up by the time this video goes up, hopefully. And yeah, I absolutely love this lip duo. I think this is really great. Once again, I think that lip duos and sets are something that are really good for somebody who's looking for like a particular color, a particular vibe. You can just get the set. You don't have to buy anything else. You know what I mean? So I really like that. I also really like their base products as well. This is their Triple Fix Serum Foundation. Although this is quite high medium coverage, leaning on high medium coverage, leaning on just full coverage. This is a great product. This does have a slightly more mattifying finish than I particularly reach for nowadays, but I love the overall look. And I did last year do a full face of LYS, and I will have that linked down below. I'll have my Heritage Month playlist linked down below for you guys, just in case you're interested. I also really enjoy their Triple Fix Concealer. I wouldn't say this is my favorite concealer, but it matches beautifully with that foundation, and it's just really nice. If you're wondering what my shade in the foundation is, it is DN6. The last thing I really want to highlight is their cream bronzer stick, and this is in the shade strength. Really great shade. There is a shade deeper than this, and I'm so happy to see it. I'm happy to see that there is a bronzer that is too deep for me. I ended up decluttering that, and I love it. I love to see it. I love to see it. A brand I've heard very little about is Bold Live, I believe is the name of the brand. They are once again another Black owned brand that you guys recommended. And I believe the person who commented this specifically said eyeshadow palettes. I don't distinctly remember an eyeshadow palette that I was interested from this brand, but maybe I'll look more into it. I wanted to share the wealth when it came to this video and just talking to you guys about the products that you guys have recommended and that I would recommend as well. Ace Beauté. So I know a lot of you guys really like Ace Beauté, specifically for their eyeshadows. I may be trying them in a future video very soon. Previously, I did not enjoy the formula, but that was like 2 formulations ago. So we'll see. We'll see. Cosmic Brushes. Now, this is a brand that really popped off last year. I have 2 palettes from them, maybe a third. I don't remember, but I picked out 2 palettes from my collection, and this is a really good formulation. I mean, really good formulations from this brand. I definitely would recommend them. I know some people think that they're a bit overrated, and you know, everybody's opinion is definitely valid, but I personally do enjoy their formula, and I really enjoy their color schemes. And for me, if I can make the formula work and I enjoy it, but the color scheme is intriguing and different, that's what really gets me. Mented Cosmetics. So Mented Cosmetics is kind of similar to me as Lip Bar in the sense that it came out at a point where it was all neutral when I was not really into neutrals, and now that I am, there's just nothing that's really pulling me to the brand. The one good thing about Mented is they are available at Ulta, so potentially maybe this year at some point I'll use my points and maybe try the brand out. I haven't really decided how I'm gonna do with my points and my low buy and all of that, but that is an option for me. And yeah, I think they're really well known for their lip products. I don't think a lot of people love their eyeshadow formula, but I could be completely wrong. So definitely let me know down below. OPV. OPV is a brand that I believe is UK based, if I am not incorrect, and they're really known for their eyeshadows as well. I feel as though they've really kind of slowed down in their releases, and so because of that, they're not so much in the forefront of people's minds. But that definitely was a brand at one point that definitely had some pull on some YouTubers channels and was really pulling out a decent amount of palettes, but they never really released a whole lot of palettes at the same time. The last brand that I want to talk to you guys today, again, is a brand I did not know was Black owned, but you guys said it in the recommendations, so I'm gonna go with it. And that's Glamlight. So Glamlight, I have tried a handful of things this last year, and then one palette I actually tried earlier this year. And I want to talk about a couple of things that I would highly recommend. Once again, I think the lipstick for this duo is just lost in the sauce, but this is the Velma lip duo. You guys loved that short. I love that short. It is a beloved short where it features this orangey shimmery lip gloss and then a brown lipstick. Once again, I featured this in a very recent video, and that video once again will be linked down below. Highly recommend that lip duo. Very similar to the LYS, where once you have that duo, I mean, do you need more? Maybe, but at least at the same time, you know, a good lipstick and lip gloss duo, and you don't have to kind of mix and match if you're not comfortable with that. Also, I really love this Glamlight Scooby-Doo blush palette. I absolutely love it. This is my preferred formula when it comes to their blushes, and that will make more sense later on in the year when I review some products that I've tried. I really love this formula. It's a bit drier, but I find that it has a blend, a blurring quality that I found that I love. This got me really interested in very unique shades, and so I picked up, I want to say, maybe one additional bright pink blush, and I've loved both of them when I reach for them. Really great quality and great product. And then the last thing I want to recommend from Glamlight, specifically that I have, is this Scooby-Doo palette. I really like it. I think the quality is great. Did it need to be this big? No, but because it is, and because I find enough variety and enough use in all of the shades, I've kept it. I'm happy. and I would highly recommend it. So yeah, those are the 20 brands that you guys recommended. You guys said are preferred Black owned brands. If you've never tried these brands, I hope that this kind of, well, like I said, will be useful in your potential shopping later on, finding new brands to pick up different things, because there's some people who prefer to shop Black owned, and I'm not hating it. I'm not hating it at all. Like I said, later on in the month, I'll be doing a full face of some new items, maybe even some of these items if you guys really want to see them reapplied on my face again. But I just wanted to do a more sit down casual video where we just talk about the things that you guys recommend. And don't worry, we'll be doing a video that has some other brands that you guys didn't mention that I recommend as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.